Hello and welcome to Chapter 159 of the DC Alliance podcast. With me, as always, is Joe. Joe, how you doing this evening?
Feeling super.
Yeah.
No, I'm doing good. I'm weekend. I was a little sick, which sucks because I had it's not COVID. Thank God. Like I've been testing myself every day. Not COVID.
Woo. Just a
Even
regular
though
common cold.
it's literally just a common cold, which sucks because it's one of those things where the last two times I had COVID, it was like, oh, by the third day, I mean, I guess I could test. It's like I'm not normally sick this long. And then it turns out I was actually had COVID. Here it is, the third day or almost fourth day, and I'm just like, okay, this sucks. Can I not be sick anymore?
Yeah, I hate being sick. I'm basically a big baby when it comes to that. Unfortunately, I haven't. I had COVID for the first time at the end of November, start of December. I've been pretty good since then, though. Luckily, not fluish. We've
Yeah,
been more preparing for baby on this side.
yeah. You
I
had a fun little thing today.
baby class stuff that at least is free. I guess that's the only thing that cost was the $1.25 of parking for the 2 hours. So uh, I won't
Wow,
won't complain about that. But
damn
uh,
it, America sucks.
well, I'll take that. I'll take that in terms of my pocket. I can't handle that. But besides that, Joe, I watched the Super Bowl. I gamble, of course. I was a positive $25 gambling. I
There
would
you
have
go.
won. I think it was 234 if the Eagles would have won as well, and Jalen Hurts would have been the MVP. Those things didn't happen, but I had enough. I actually I'm silly, so I looked over at Allison and was like, heads or tails, and she's like, what? I was like, what do you think is going to be the opening coin toss, heads or tails? She said tails. It's like, okay, $10 on that. Boom, tails.
There you go.
So
Dude,
I like to have a
I
bit of fun.
learned that the Super Bowl is one of those games where they will literally bet on everything. The length of the how long the Star Spangled Banner is, the color of the Gatorade that gets thrown
That was
on the
on
other
my
team.
betting app. What
Was
color
it?
was the
So it's
Gatorade?
like
I didn't. I stayed away from that. I'm not that.
it's so freaking amazing the amount of things that people will bet on the Super Bowl.
Yes. And with the Super Bowl, we got a fantastic trailer, which, in my opinion, it has the most buzz of the trailers and everything that dropped in the Super Bowl. We were going to get into that. We're going to break that all down. But obviously, before we do all of that, I have to do the network plugs and get that out of the way. We are part of the Geek Ultimate Alliance with 8 shows in total. On Mondays is Ranger Alliance, and that rotates bi-weekly with Slice of Film. On Tuesdays is this show, DC Alliance. On Wednesdays, still is a walk through the multiverse with Joe, where Joe is going through the hit show, The Last of Us. Joe, how many episodes is left with The Last of
Four
Us?
episodes. We've got
4 episodes left.
we're just over halfway, and it's just getting better and better. It's so good.
And, I can't wait to get back on there. I had something today that prevented me from recording. I don't want
Yeah,
to
I
go into
recorded
any more
I
with that
recorded a little bit
because
earlier than normal, so the episode will go up to the patrons a little earlier than it normally has the last couple weeks, but it will still be releasing Wednesday in the regular feed.
yes, so check that out and stick with Joe on Wednesdays for the next 4 weeks after this one. On Thursdays is Star Wars Alliance. On Fridays is Marvel Alliance. On Saturdays for the next 5 weeks is the Animation Nation, where we look at X-Men the animated series. I've had a few guests on. I think this past week was Brant from Marvel Alliance.
Yes.
I know there is a crossover with Chris as well and Nick Zednick from the Vigilante 1939 podcast. And I've recorded already a couple from season 2. Patrons, be on the lookout for that. You should get a couple of those flying up this weekend. So stick with me. I go through that X-Men the Animated Series, getting excited for X-Men 97, of course. On Sundays, monthly is World's Finest True Believers. DC Alliance goes live on the Geekverse YouTube channel Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Star Wars Alliance goes live Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And Marvel Alliance goes live Thursdays at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. All three of those shows also have their own podcast feeds. Search Marvel Alliance, DC Alliance, or Star Wars Alliance. If you just want Marvel content, DC content, or Star Wars content only. But if you want all 8 shows on the GUA Podcast Network, stay subscribed to the GUA on your podcast app of choice. We also have a Patreon, 2 tiers, $1 tier and a $5 tier. Dollar tier is basically tip jar, like we're doing, and you want to help us out any way you can. And the $5 tier is where you get your extras. You get your ad-free episodes, early access to episodes, and Patreon exclusive episodes. Myself and Joe are going through the DC films through the years, so stick with us as we go through everything from Batman 66 all the way up to Catwoman and beyond into the DCEU, which looks like it may be having its closing stamp here. So it will be a nice tie-in for us to promote. Like, go to DC Alliance to hear our final review on The Flash. But yeah, so we're going through the DC film. Stick with us as we go through that. We have Chris and Brent, the Marvel Alliance guys. They're doing a total MCU rewatch, not only the films, but the one shots as well. So stick with them. I think from StreamYard, I'll let you in on this, listeners. I think they're recording something soon. That's all I'll say. I think they're recording a new thing soon. How long it takes to get from recording to your patrons, I don't know, but just
well, I can tell you they put theirs out the last Monday of every month.
yes. So
there you go. You got 2 weeks.
2 weeks, listeners. So be on the lookout for that. We also have Katie going through Star Wars comics with her husband. We have Clay going through shows for the first time, and we have Joe Joe's Multiverse Minutes. So we thank everyone that's a patron. But if you can't be a patron, if you take a quick 30 to 60 seconds to review the podcast on your podcast app of choice, that's always greatly appreciated. It helps other people find the shows, and that's always a good thing. Okay, Joe, I think that's everything, right? That's all the business is handled.
I believe so.
Yes. And listeners, be on the lookout sometime this week for a review of the Harley Quinn Valentine's extravaganza special. So that will be coming sometime this week from the Animation Nation. Okay, Joe, we got a trailer. We got a big trailer. The Flash trailer hit for Super Bowl. Actually, it came about 30 to 45 minutes before the Super Bowl started.
Well, they had a set time, 6 p.m. Eastern, Super Bowl or not. That's what time the trailer was coming out.
Yeah.
And I'll say this: I watched the trailer because it got shared by Chris. Thank you. In our group chat, and immediately as soon as I was done, I text my neighbor, and I'm like, "Dude, that trailer looks dope. Like, I know you didn't put the trailer together. I know all you did was work on the movie, but that trailer was dope." He's like, "Oh, okay, cool."
You worked on the property. You give him a tip of the cap, regardless. Yeah. And Joe, I share your sentiment there.
Only because I know some of the scenes that I saw are in that trailer.
Yeah, and this trailer had a lot. Like, this was a jam-packed trailer full of stuff, and I can't wait to get in and break down some of our favorite moments, what we liked, what we didn't like about it. Off the top, Joe, you said you texted your friend, a VFX artist, to say, like, bravo. But what did you think about this trailer? Like, just some top bullet points. What did you feel from watching this?
It was awesome. It was so good. It's one of those things where, like, even knowing the bit I know from it, seeing it all together and seeing it play out like this was a story trailer. Like, this is, you're getting the idea of what's going on. I mean, it's awesome. You know, it looked amazing. It hyped up, and we'll talk about it as we go on in the episode here. It hyped up the movie. People on Twitter were talking about it the minute it was done, and we're talking about it most of the night.
It really was, and we had a new Guardians trailer in there. There was a Fast trailer. There was
a Transformers teaser.
Small Transformers teaser. There was a couple other TV spots. There was a different TV spot for this film as well.
Yeah, showed a couple other scenes.
Couple other scenes, couple good shots. Joe, this was, like you said, this I love this trailer. I was so giddy after watching this. I had such a big smile on my face. I loved everything about it. Like, and I'm so, like, me and you are the fans that, I don't know. I'm not 100% sure your top three. I could maybe take a gander of your top three DC EU films. I might be close.
I think I have it saved somewhere. Let's see if I can find it real quick while you say that.
Or at least I have a feeling of your top five, like movies that will land in your top five. I think you enjoy a certain set of movies like myself, and you're still excited for what's to come, like myself. Like, you're not. I don't want to, like. This got me hyped. This got me hyped for a capper to the DCU and a start to the DCU. That was obviously there are some VFX extras like stuff that needs to be fixed, like when Supergirl's punching that guy at the staff Batman. Like there's some moments there that obviously need a little bit of polishing, but I thought for the overall, like it was a great trailer, like you said, story wise, and we got so much in this trailer. This is such a jam packed trailer.
Yeah.
The game says it was a chunky 3 minute long. Saw people prefer the Flash TV spot over it though.
Well, yeah, TV spot showed. Well, first off, it showed the Batmobile. I mean,
Yeah.
come on. But also like 30 seconds long. So I mean, I'm not saying that that's wrong. Like it's one of those things where you have to navigate to the YouTube to see the trailer because they didn't show it on TV. TV spot was there. People were, I'm not gonna say looking forward to it, the trailer to be on the Super Bowl like it used to be, but I don't know. I'm also talking on my ass, so here we go.
And all the game also says documented that WB don't have enough cash to produce and market a bunch of their projects. So that was for 2022 when they took over, and it's because a lot of it has to do accounting background is going to flash in here a little bit now. It has to do with the books when they made the purchase.
Yeah,
The
that wasn't great.
the numbers were a little fudged on HBO Max subscribers, various other things on the game that kind of put them in the position they were in 2022 that they could not take on any more losses. The 2023 and beyond, that has not like the couldn't market 2022 films and only that is not the same for these films going forward. These 4 films are not going to have any bearing on what Gunn does with his DCU. These were all made and in the can before Gunn got there. Obviously, Gunn can have some reshoots and some notes, but he's not going to fundamentally change an entire film. That's already in the can. Just it's not happened. The Batgirl thing happened before that would happen.
Correct, but at the same time, though, these 4 films have to succeed.
Yes,
I think for his
reputation,
his universe to actually be okay.
You need a good transition, Joe. You need to keep
Correct.
the
Yes,
audience.
exactly.
Yes.
And
So it's
this
how to make the
Flash,
financing.
the Flash movie, the trailer here, everybody talking on Twitter, the momentum is in its favor.
Yes.
Right now.
Yes. And all the game, I'm just saying, I don't want them to have that as an excuse as to why this film doesn't perform, is that they didn't have the budget. They have the budget to go at this film, especially with how executives are talking about how confident they are in this film. So if this film doesn't do well, it's not that they didn't have marketing power behind it. Like people have used that excuse for Black Adam, and I didn't like it then either because I think The Rock is worth so much for marketing, and if that movie didn't do well, I don't think it's because of WB didn't push it enough in the back end. I don't think that would have made that much of a difference in the bottom line for that film. So they're not as cash strapped, we'll say, for going into 2023 and beyond so far. Now, if all 4 of these films flop, I don't know. So obviously, you have to have people say positive things. But Joe, let's go through this trailer because this was great. And James Gunn shared I love this movie so much. Can't wait for you to see it. Like, he's really pushing this film, which I can't.
Yeah.
After
it's not a bad thing, in all honesty.
Okay. I will kill the volume. We have the closed captioning, and I do like the voiceover. What do you think about the start here, where Flash comes? What is this? Do you think this is him traveling in time, or is this like him reliving that moment? I don't think this is where he changes things.
So I think
I love the suit, by the way. The look of it here, I think it looks really good.
I thought it looked a little janky, but
I kind of like that. I was looking at the shoulders part. I wasn't looking at the way the head transitions.
Yeah, that was my issue. Like the head.
Yeah.
It was.
I'm looking at the pattern on the suit. I kind of like that. That's what I'm looking at, like the
which is fair.
shoulder pattern and stuff there.
In all honesty, it was one of those where I wasn't 100% sure. I think I thought originally that it was him going in the past, but there was, I think you shared it in the notes. What heavy spoilers? Sean over there, heavy spoilers, had mentioned that he thinks it's this, And then there's a point in the trailer where later on where young Barry's running out and there's Flash Barry. So I think it's him coming to his house, remembering.
Yeah. And you can see here, like this. I thought for a second this might be Batfleck's Wayne Manor, with the where it's adjacent to Gotham City. Like it's out in the forest. You can see that little river there, that the lake to the left, like where my cursor is.
Yeah.
So that's what I thought first. But seeing the outfit, this is the outfit that the other Barry has. So I think this is Bruce Wayne's Wayne Manor, from Keaton's universe.
Gotcha. And I believe you are right, actually.
That's just, and then he relives his moments here, and we see the Kyle. I shout out to people that call this too, but I want to say before we look at Batfleck, is this reminded them of the Dark Knight Returns, where he goes into the cave and drops all his pieces of his gear to let the Bat know, like to speak with the Bat. And I thought that was a bit of a leap, but if it's right, I want to remember it at this point. So.
You want to say you want to be like, I did say that, even
No.
though
I want to say I completely just did not believe that, and I was wrong. We don't get enough of that, especially with scoopers. Miss Grace Random here.
Fair.
Yeah. Okay, so we go on here, Joe, and we get Batfleck riding the bat cycle, chasing after some goons. I mean, this is going to be in the first part of the film, but and it looks like he's wearing. We'll see a better shot of it later, but it's a different color cowl and suit, Joe. It's more of the blue gray.
Yeah.
Were you digging that? Were you?
I mean, okay, this is one of the things I kind of already knew, but yeah, yes.
Amazing. Like I was super excited when I saw that. So Barry.
Yep. Things are happening.
Yeah, so Barry is going. Sorry, I had.
No,
to
you're
hide,
good. You're good. You were watching the trailer. You got enthralled.
No, I had to hide the thing so I could read the closed captions.
Okay.
So Barry, obviously, the whole crux of Flashpoint is him going back in time and preventing his mother from dying, and we're basically seeing. I think we're seeing old memories here, or these could possibly be new memories that the other Barry, the different Earth Barry, the Keaton Barry, is making. I'm not 100% sure on that here, but we see.
No, see, I think it's not. Well, okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. It's going to be one of those things where it could be. We'll say younger Barry, because he is a younger Barry. Younger Barry is having these memories, and we also see older Barry's memories here with him coming in to his see his mom dying and his dad holding her. So I think I think you're right. I think it's both Barry's memories playing out.
And I will say the only thing that made me think of that, Joe, is the way that this Barry yellow is the other Barry's color, and we see that is all bright, and then when we go to this memory, it's dark, and obviously
it turns dark.
Yeah, but the color and the atmosphere, like everything is darker. It's not bright, like it's not a happy moment. I think it's from the other Barry where it's, and we have a different person portraying Henry Allen.
Yes,
this, Ron
because Billy couldn't. He was preoccupied. He had other contracts. Other movies,
other things going on. He also has a hit show at Apple TV. I think like the morning. He's part of that morning show that Reese Witherspoon.
Oh, is he?
That's canceled or not.
Good for him.
Yeah. So we see, Barry looking here as his mother's dying. And like I said, different. I think it's the two different Barry's memories. And Barry just talking about time has a pattern of repeating itself. And we get to see him like looking at young Barry running out of the house after what happens to his mother.
Yeah. And I think it's just him remembering.
Yes. Or he's even like, maybe this is first part is where he can go there, but he doesn't intervene. And
no,
then I
guarantee it's him coming to the house, because he probably hasn't been to the house since he left. I guarantee it's him coming to the house and him just remembering, having the memory of him.
When you say I guarantee, I trust you.
Honestly, it could also, that first scene where you think it's younger Barry having the memory, because he's got the yellow shirt.
That could be his memory too.
Yeah,
Yes,
easily could just be another memory from him.
yeah, 100%. It's just the brightness, the different colors. That's why it made me think that. That's all.
Which is fair. Yeah.
And yeah, so Barry's. We're wondering what's going on here. He's talking.
Oh no,
Talking
that
with
wasn't Barry.
multiverse. No,
Pretty
this
sure
is
that was somebody else's hand.
no. I'm just saying we hear Barry talking.
Oh, Barry talking. Okay.
Yeah, this
But yeah,
is.
there's a hand with a looks pretty gnarled. He looks like he's had some fighting going on there.
Yeah, and I would
Yeah.
love to know, listeners, if any of you know, if any of you watching Batman '89 or Batman Returns have seen the
Thank you,
pictures of the Waynes, because I would love to know if they took the exact same pictures and just used them again. That's something that
Did they have
I,
pictures in the first one?
I'm not sure, or the second one. They may have had a picture of them.
Hmm.
I'm just curious about that. But yeah,
Yeah.
like Joe says, we see an old tattered hand, and then we see Barry basically like looking at pictures of his family, and he touches what seems to be his mother, and then he touches himself. He's there.
Whoa.
phrasing, Travis, phrasing. He meets himself, and the other Barry. I do like how he's like, "You stole my face." Like,
Yeah.
so he clearly, I think this Barry doesn't have the speed yet, and this Barry is going to basically give it to him. That's my thought here. He's going to run the experiment for Barry as well.
Okay.
And then we go to them visiting the old mansion by Keaton, and we see, like I said, right here, I think he's going to give him powers, doing the whole experiment in the background, and it's going to go through him into him. And he's explaining to, oh, we got to stop for a second, Joe.
For the ring.
It took like 5-6 seasons for the Flash to do this, maybe 4, and this is awesome. I love the way this just works. And if you want to know where Barry got this ring, there's a nice tie-in comic, 3-issue comic for the movie that is pretty good. And Batfleck and Alfred are vital in how Barry gets this ring.
Yeah, I read the first issue. I need to go and finish it off.
It's enjoyable.
I liked it. I liked that first issue. And I'll probably, honestly, we have until June. Mm-hmm. I'll probably go find the comic. Heck, it's on DC Universe Infinite Ultra. So,
how many more words are going to add to it before they ever fold it? I wonder.
Whatever. But yeah, it's on there, so I know I can read it there, and I will definitely read it before the movie hits.
Yeah. So he's explaining this to Bruce, Ben Affleck, Batfleck's Bruce, that he could fix things, that he could change the past, and Bruce is like, you could destroy everything. And we flash to obviously after Barry's made the decision. What do you think when you saw Zod? Obviously, we've known that Zod is supposed to be in this for a while now.
I originally forgot that General Zod was going to be in this, until talking with my neighbor. He kind of reminded me, like, oh yeah. Mm-hmm. So he was basically telling me, and we do kind of see it, and heavy spoilers. I guess it's Paul, not Sean. Sorry. Yeah. He even explains that he thinks this is the moment in Man of Steel where Zod shows up and is basically threatening the Earth. But ultimately, yeah, it's just him coming to Earth, giving the ultimatum. So yeah, I think that's the scene, which, man, it's going to be amazing to see this unleashed. I'm not going to lie.
Yes. And you know what else is going to be amazing, Joe? People are going to go revisit Man of Steel before they watch this film.
Probably.
And I just love that.
It's such the beginning of the DCU and the end of the DCU.
It's such an underrated film, in my opinion. It got too much hate when it came out. I love it. So just to see Zod's performance in it is one of the key reasons. And I just love, like I said, we see the world engine here. Look at all the people, Joe. Look at all the destruction.
Well,
so yeah, he's like, I completely broke the universe, and we see Zod coming out like a total badass.
Yeah.
And Barry's like, I created a world where there's no metahumans, and we see there's one, and it's Kara's Supergirl, and she's pretty not solar powered, solar deficient. There, you can see her ribs and everything. I thought it was cool. We see what looks like the army's launching a full assault on General Zod, And Joe, this reminds me of like this is like the opposite of when they surrendered Superman. It seems like the same set piece, but it seems like instead of surrendering Superman, they're out launching a full scale attack. I know it could be probably just the final act. They're going against Zod. It's not that, but that's what it reminded me of when I was just watching it. Just the way the shits were laid out and stuff.
Okay.
So he has no metahumans he think to help, and someone asks him for help, Joe. We get the iconic line. We get like right on the nose, and it still worked for me, even though they like beat us over the head with it.
Ham this up,
and it works, and it totally works.
I mean, it was perfect.
And Keaton looks great.
How do you make 40-year-old men cream themselves? This right here.
And he looked great. He looked really good for this. Obviously, we just see face, but
I mean, he looks good right here.
Yes.
Just keep that in mind. He looks good.
Yes. There's some extra work that needs to be happening in a little tiny bit here. And we see Keaton's Batman do something that he's never done before.
Says Batman?
Right here.
Oh, okay.
The action, the swooping in, scooping somebody up, and
throwing them. Definitely seemed more like Affleck's Batman.
Yes. But it also is something that I wish is something that maybe you would want it to have done with Keaton back when 89 was happening, but you didn't have the technology, the resources. Like most of it was all practical.
Yeah, it's something that he could have done had he signed on for Batman Forever.
Yes. So I do really enjoy this, and like obviously it needs a bit of work, but I did enjoy just his power level, I guess we'll say, for going in Dragon Ball Z terms, or just his strength level. I did like seeing that. I didn't want him too frail and weak, to be honest with you.
So how can I say this without ruining it? It'll be interesting to see how he is at that level.
Yeah. I like that. Okay. Yeah. I like that.
Because we last time we saw Michael Keaton was in 92 with Batman Returns.
Yeah.
And he was still in his prime then. We obviously don't know what's going on. We have no idea what happened.
He could be bathing in Lazarus pits for the last 30 years. I don't know.
Could be.
They very well could be.
Like, well, then, I mean, I guess even if you count the Batman 89 comic, tie-in comic, even there he was active. Like it was one of those where they kind of lost me toward the end of the 650 series.
I didn't jump on that shit.
Yeah, not really. Like I shared a cool little thing in the post in the group chat of the pre-order. You can get both of the Batman 78 and
cool.
Superman 78 and Batman 89 together in a little case, and they look like a VHS tape, which is really awesome. But ultimately, I'd be interested to see, and I'm sure they're going to explain it, where he's been, because I don't think. Because we saw it here and here. We saw it in this episode. saw it in this trailer. We saw it in the teaser. The Batmobile had a cover on it.
He's been retired for a while.
He's been retired for a minute. Yeah. So, and even young Barry, had no idea who Batman was. Well, he knew of him, but no one's seen him for a while.
So he was shocked, but he knew who he was.
So it's going to be interesting to see if, and I'm sure they will, they explain where Bruce Wayne has been, where Batman has been in those years.
You know what I will also enjoy is that our Barry or DCEU Barry tells this Barry that Bruce Wayne's Batman. He doesn't believe him. I'm hoping for that as well. Like I'm hoping that nobody knows that Bruce Wayne is Batman on this earth. So
here, hold on now. There's like a ton of women who know he's Batman.
They could be dead by now, Joe. You don't know. It's the price you pay for dating Batman.
They don't. They date him for like a minute, then they leave.
Yeah, because Joker keeps a Rolodex, Joe. Joker keeps a. Oh wait,
Joker's dead.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
So was Penguin.
Oh, Joker too. Joker. Yeah, what was talking about? He's worse than Batfleck. Murders everybody. Everybody dies when they encounter.
Oh, Batman. Dude, yeah, no, it's. I mean, so over on Comic Rundown, we've already covered the Batman movies, and we've been keeping a kill count, and it's pretty high.
Yeah, I'm going to actually do that when we get to that point. So, but I'll ask you when we finish the trailer together. Yeah. I'm going to hold that. So, Batman faint, and this is pretty awesome. The Bat Cycle Batfleck, so just flashing back and forth here. I do like that.
The cycle looks good.
Oh, it looks
Really good.
badass. We see it looks like Supergirl taking that looks like Barry up into the sky. Not sure why.
Okay.
It's not.
Look, I'm not giving you. I'm not. I'm
It's not
trying to be stone faced. I'm
Superman.
not
It's
telling
not
shit here.
Superman. That's Superman.
It's not Superman. I can tell you that
Okay.
right now.
Okay. I was gonna say, but that seems like it's Barry. Okay. So yeah, she's just great shot. And Shadow here. This is the Martha Wayne Institute. So I think this is present day, like before Flash changes anything. I think this is the opening of the set piece with Batfleck. Just
No comment.
Just a thought. So yeah, we see another cool shot of him running there. We get a nice Batman shot, and that is totally the exact same Batarang that he had. So I love it. Just attention to detail. Bravo, Andy Muschietti. This
this scene was dope as hell.
I love it, and I even though this gives a little bit away to me, if you saw the other person in any sort of suit in the teaser trailer, I love it. I think this is super cool. Amazing. Just it. Oh, we're finally getting a Flash film. Never thought we'd see the day. So Barry's saying, like, basically, I need to go undo what I did before. We get a cool Supergirl punch on Zod right here.
Yeah.
Some people told me that it could be Fiora.
Yeah, I think it's possible it could be her.
Yeah. It's hard to slow it down enough to see if it's Zod or not, but it's still totally badass.
Either way, she is kicking the shit out of another Kryptonian.
Yes, and this is something that I missed on first watch, which is the Flash doing a tornado, creating a cyclone, which is pretty cool. This is like take Flash TV show. I love it. So we get the Batwing there, which
flying through a
explosion.
Up. Yeah.
Here, hold on. Yeah, just flying through an explosion, and we see it here launch a big missile attack on Zod's ship. There, we see the government attacking as well over here to the right. So, just so much going on at once here, and then Batfleck, which I thought this looked super cool, and I thought this was him too for a second until I saw the
lightning around him.
Yeah, the lightning around him and but the suit just for the first half a second there, the transition made me think same thing. So, like I said, Batwing firing on Zod ship again just looks amazing, Joe. Amazing, and this is a great scene as well. Barry asking Batman what the plan is, and when he moves his fist, we see this is obviously post Supergirl being released, and she's going to get some vengeance on some of these people that have been holding her captive.
Yeah, just a bit.
And this is the shot that some people are giving criticism. I don't think this looks that bad, if I'm being honest with you. I think Batman looks great here. Obviously, this guy could get a little bit of work, but I think Batman looks great. And
there is a little bit of when Supergirl is coming in, her body seems a little elongated.
Yeah.
But that you could factor that as she's moving so quick that it's having trouble keeping up. Naked eye kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Regardless, I am excited to see Sasha Calle.
Look at that, Joe.
Like, it looks amazing.
Just straight up killing him. She's like, I'm not Clark. My name is Kara. And I did laugh. I chuckled when he said, we're Barry. And this is a funny scene as well. Cool, because you see Supergirl flying with the Batwing, probably just going into the final battle.
Yep.
And Barry's like, our kids are going to want to see this. And she bolts off, and we get like the Man of Steel type.
Yeah, it's I'm excited for it. What are some of your predictions? I'm gonna stick out. I'm asking you specifically because I know and I don't want to give anything away, but what are some of your predictions?
Oh, some of my predictions. Honestly, Joe, I think that before I thought that it was going to essentially have Flash come back and Batman is Keaton and Sasha Kai is this like Supergirl is taking the role of Superman.
Yeah.
And I don't the crisis stuff maybe down the line, but I thought that now there's obviously changes. There's rumors that Sasha Kai, Supergirl, and Keaton's Batman were taken out of the final scene of the film. Uh, I really think Barry will come back. The wild card for me is Ezra Miller. Is like if you bring Ezra, like if Ezra comes back in this film and everything's different, but he's still the same, the recasting of him is going to be really hard. So that's one thing I'm curious about when it's all said and done. I really think the story is going to be well. I think it's going to be a great story. The transition from this to the DCU is one of the things I'm really curious about at the very end of the film. I think everything's going to play well. I think it's going to be a lot of the beats are going to be similar to Flashpoint.
Yeah.
Like with Supergirl is going to take place of Clark there of Superman, and you're going to get some variation on stuff. Like obviously you're not going to get Thomas Wayne, but you're going to get an older Bruce Wayne that's beaten like nostalgia '89 Batman. But I think that story is going to be self-contained. I think I would love for at the end of this film on this Earth when Barry leaves, Batman and Supergirl are like running the show because then it still opens up the window of doing a Batman Beyond film with Keaton where he transitions the role to somebody else. And then in that world, you have Supergirl and Batman Beyond that you could bring over as any type of crossover big event thing, but you could also tell own stories. I don't think you're getting much of Supergirl if you have this plan for a Supergirl film that Gunn has said isn't to do with Sasha Kai Supergirl.
See, and I think they can easily get away with, because they've already said that these next 4 movies are in their own separate thing. You've got Peacemaker season 2 and Waller in its own thing. Creature Commandos its own thing. Like they're all in basically in this current DCEU, and then Superman Legacy is going to start the new DCEU. We're gonna have Elseworlds. Like I've got no qualms about them continuing on with the Batman Beyond, like you just said, having Sasha as Supergirl, having a new Batman, those two working together as going forward. Even in that one, you could have Ezra as Flash if you wanted to. It'll depend on how the movie ends, obviously. But I don't know. I'd be interested to see what happens. I wanted Sasha Calle to continue on as Supergirl in the new movie in Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, which I have finished that comic now, and it is. I said last week that the beginning of it was weird. I don't know why I questioned Tom King because he always brings it back in the end. Like
I'm gonna have to read that, and we'll review that
it's pretty good
on this show. I'm gonna read that. And we'll do that next month or something, or the month after. We'll review it leading up to. We'll talk about that leading up to this
which
film.
I know. So actually, this might be a good time to mention. I mean, they're over there buried, but we do have some Flash comics. We got some Supergirl comics that we will be giving away when come June, come closer to the Flash movie. So guys, stick around and we'll figure out the details later.
Yeah, maybe in the next trailer we get, when we review that, we'll start the giveaways with something like that, and we'll do a few. I'm with you on that. The mound of comic giveaways in the corner there.
Yeah, I forgot I had those because they've been covered up by a bunch of stuff over on the table, and I've been trying to clean out my basement a little bit. So yeah, I've got stuff for that. Oh, I think I got something for Shazam. So we gotta get on that one too. So
agreed.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll get to it.
We'll get to it. Joe, I just really love this. I loved so much about this trailer. There's so many cool shots. Let's take our second ad break. I'll find the first one somewhere in the first part of the conversation because we just got into it so much. Listeners, we're an ad-supported network. We don't pick the ads or volume. I'm going to give you a quick 3 count to adjust your volume, and we'll be right back in 3, 2, 1. And we're back. Okay, Joe. There's a couple cool shots that I want to talk about before we move on from this trailer. Obviously, the thumbs up. I thought this was great. You thought this was great. I've seen mostly praise. I haven't seen any negativity on my timeline, but my timeline has been cleansed a lot. I want to say Luis Fernando said the Flash movie is the only film with release spots and trailers still on Twitter's global top 30 in top 10, even after Rihanna's halftime show, dominating most of the combo. He says the way the Flash trailer has been well received, WB could finally have a win in the summer. So yeah, it says it generated the most hype of any of the films. It got to top 7. None of the other ones cracked. Guardians of the Galaxy got 8. Guardians of the Galaxy got 18, and Indiana Jones got 24. Wow. So yeah, it worked. It hit its audience, and that's a great thing. Yeah. So there was I want to talk about the Bat flick. The color, that was fantastic. We talked about that, and the chest plate. I can't wait to see that action scene. I think that's going to really set the movie off. And the Keaton suits. The Keaton suits is what I want to talk to you about. Because have you seen the picture of all the Keaton suits? There's some dandies in there, Joe. There's some really. Hold on.
Yeah, I've seen them. I'm sorry. I was trying to. I had it muted because I was trying to sneeze, but I never did. I think it was shared in the group chat. Somebody had actually broken down every single one. Man, they look, yes, awesome. Especially since we only got like 2 or 3 suits in the original movies. You know?
Yes. Like there's some awesome ones here. This one looks like the Desert Batman. This one has guns and holsters. I'm hoping that's the last one. Then he gave up being Batman. When he started using gun. This one looks like a blue and gray color suit. I love this one. Looks like basically the end of Returns with the beat up symbol. I was loving this, Joe. I thought this was fantastic, and it was better than the whole bat hangers thing that we got in. Was it Returns?
Yeah, I believe it was.
Yeah,
but
Returns.
that
it's a time. I know.
Well, yeah, it's a time, but back then it was just like he didn't have multiple like armored like a suit for every occasion. It was I've got one suit, and when this suit gets dirty and busted, I go to my next suit, which is the exact same one as my last one.
I enjoyed it at the time. I thought it was cool, to be honest with you. But now looking at it, it's not as practical to have muffin hangers and all that. Obviously, it's one of the nitpicks that you can't really make a nitpick if we're talking about superhero shit. So you can't be like, it's not practical to have your superhero suit on a clothes hanger. So yeah,
I mean, it is.
Yeah,
I think Superman has his on a clothes hanger forever.
Superman isn't made of giant latex rubber like this.
True, very true.
Yeah, so that was a cool shot. The Zod and Supergirl, the Flash, Flash boots.
Like that was, dude. That's an amazing shot. Like that's gonna be awesome.
That ring, Joe. The ring was so freaking cool to me because I loved how it worked. The whole
sliding around.
Out. I can't wait to see the Flash, and it didn't show it, Joe. They didn't show the Flash suit coming out and him putting it on at all. Like I love that. Like we get to see that in the film. They're holding it for that, which thumbs up on that. That's
which like I've got a ring here. I don't remember where I got it from. Somebody. But it, it's a Flash ring and it does open up, which is kind of cool. It's similar to what we see in the TV show.
Yes.
And really similar to the comic, where it's just instead of sliding like the movie does, it just opens up and then everything, the suit, pops out. That ring looked awesome. Not gonna lie.
Yes. And so you're with me in thinking that you can have a Batman Beyond, you can tell because like I want to go to this. Snell in the chat said, like, pose the question: if this does basically, like, this is a huge hit, like billion, can you leave Keaton and Sasha Calle behind?
Like, I hope not, but at the same time, I don't know.
I think the Elseworlds thing is solved that because Superman's getting recasting and Batman's getting recasting. He said new characters. He's replied to that this week with Batman. Like, there's a new person playing Batman.
But here's the thing: if they're gonna keep these two in Elseworlds, why can't we have Cavill in Elseworlds? Why can't we have Affleck? in the Elseworlds. Like,
You
why
start
can't we
getting
have
the
it
can of
all?
worms. Yeah, you start getting the
I
can
mean,
of
it
worms.
is. It really is. But at the same time, if this movie gets as popular as if it makes the numbers that they are projecting that people are thinking,
Mm.
I'm not gonna say they'd be foolish not to continue forward with them going, in even just one project.
Yeah.
Just one project, get the feelers out there, see if people are excited for it, see if people like it, and then go from there.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Joe, you can't. I don't know if you could release the Batgirl film,
No,
but
I mean, I think I from we've been hearing a lot of different sources
yeah, I'm
saying
just
it's
saying
been
that
crap.
Batgirl could team up with a Supergirl kind of deal. Like
She
you could have
could.
had that at another Elseworlds as well. I know that it gets confusing, and we have
I've
Zaggle saying it
got
does
that
not do.
comic where it's instead of Clark being the lead, Kara is the lead,
Mm-hmm.
and Bruce I think is I don't know what's going on with him, but then Batgirl is like that lead in that world. So it's an Elseworlds. It's a really good Elseworlds comic. I've got it somewhere around here.
It's a good one-off Batman the Animated Series episode too, where they team up to take down a couple villains, Supergirl and
Yeah.
Batgirl. So it's just I would love to see Keaton do Batman Beyond. That's something I really want, but I can't. I don't think you can bring Keaton over and have him being the main Batman in the
No.
DC
No.
universe. You need to keep going forward with that. It's going to be sad to see Batfleck go, but I think I'm gonna really enjoy this final performance. And who knows, Crisis down the line, he may come back up. But
Again, we'll see. Like these next 4 movies, Flash and Aquaman especially, are gonna kind of get the feelers out on if they can continue with these characters in an Elseworld setting.
yeah,
Because
agreed.
if you think about it, if they're going to do a crisis level event eventually down the line, you could have similar to what the CW verse did, where Supergirl was on her own Earth, the Arrow, Flash, Legends were in their own thing, and then Crisis happened, and they brought Supergirl over
Mhm.
into the
Yeah,
Arrowverse.
there was
So,
it was one Earth there.
so you could essentially have these Elseworlds multiversal movies, and then eventually mash them all up. I don't think it's going to happen, especially when you have multiple Batmen running around, multiple Jokers in different time frames. But you could pick and choose, what to have.
Yes, I do enjoy too. I hope that because Barry is on the other Earth, it doesn't like. I don't want the Earth to collapse on itself because there's two Barrys. That's one of the things I didn't like about the MCU, where like Doctor Strange was on the Earth, he couldn't be on that Earth for too long because there was another like we caused like the Earths to collapse, each other. I didn't.
Well, I think that was more of Doctor Strange fucking up the multiverse.
I don't know. Yeah, I wasn't. I didn't want any if he stayed there, I wanted that a possibility of him being able to stay there and not have anything.
But then again, like Loki, there was multiple Lokis at the end of time.
That,
How is
but
that? How is that not problematic?
I guess the rules don't apply at the end of time. Maybe I
I
don't
mean, it
know.
is outside. It is outside of everything.
So
But
that's just what I thought there.
I don't
But
know.
no, I'm really excited for this. I thought this was great, and it's nice to see DC get a good hit like this, where it's universally praised online, and it looked fantastic. I'm so excited for this film. I can't wait for us to finally review this when we get it. Finally, get a Flash film. The Flash film. Ezra was cast a week after the first episode of the Flash TV
A
show.
week before the Flash episode aired, first Flash episode aired.
Yo, okay.
No, it wasn't. No, it was a week.
Yeah, it was. It was technically no. It was the second. It was after the first episode aired technically, but the first episode leaked on truck early in the summer, and it was a huge hit. Like I can't tell you how many times I watched it
Okay.
before it even aired. So it was out for a while before. It was buzzing for a while before that.
Gotcha.
So let's move away from the trailer and get into a little bit of news before we have a very slow amount of news this week after the Flash pilot or Flash trailer, but I mean we spent quite a bit of time discussing that. So
There's nothing wrong with that.
The Batman was the second most pirated film of 2022.
What was the first?
No Way Home. It was
Yeah. Wow. Really?
Yeah, No Way Home was at 24%. The Batman was at 13.
No Way Home came out in December. Jesus Christ, guys, do better.
I say
Batman more.
I say Russia had a good thing to do with the Batman because I know they didn't get it. They aired bootleg copies in theaters.
Yeah, but the Batman came out in March, and No Way Home came out in December, and that beat out. I mean, I'm not surprised. It had Toby and Andrew, but the fact that it had 10 months to be out there, and it still only got 13% of pirating. Man,
Doctor Strange got 10. Thor: Love and Thunder got 9. Black Adam got 9. Uncharted got 8. Eternals got 8. Top Gun Maverick got 8. Tom Cruise did a great job because I would think they would be higher. So he shut down a lot. Scientology.
Oh wait, you said 2022, didn't you?
Yeah,
that makes sense. Okay, because that came out in 2021. Never mind.
Yeah,
Never mind.
December of 2021. So very end of it. So it would stand to reason in the new year.
Never
and
mind.
then so still it means popular. We're obviously getting sequel. I'm so glad that that's the case. And that was a measuring stick I used to use, Joe, for the DCCW shows when the ratings were in flux in those few years after the first couple seasons of Flash. I would use that as a measuring stick of how the shows were doing.
Which is fair, but that's when they actually shared their numbers. Now now these companies stop sharing their numbers.
That's why I would look at the most pirated shows to get an indication of what's still popular. Because for a few years here, those shows were up there on the top of the pirated charts every year.
Fair.
And I doubt it's the same, but there was a time where that was the case. So next, I don't know how many crazy Zack Snyder fans are going to do like this, but Zack Snyder wished James Gunn well on his DCU slate. It's because there was somebody that wrote about wanting Netflix to sell Zack Snyder's Justice League, or WBD to sell Zack Snyder's Justice League to Netflix. I've had all this black, so I don't really see it, but it's a story here.
What's your source, Travis? Who's your source, James Gunn? How do you know that it's actually true?
It's James Gunn. James Gunn says, I have to say, it's got to be the wackiest hashtag ever since. One, right? Netflix hasn't expressed any such interest, although we've discussed other stuff. And two, Zach hasn't expressed any interest and seems to be happy doing what he's doing. And yes, we have talked too. And then he says, Snyder contacted me to express his support about my choices. He's a great guy. Again, he seems really happy. He seems really happy with the massive world building he's doing that.
I've been saying it. We've been saying it for a while. Like,
same people, the whole people
is already over at Netflix. Why would he want to handle?
He's doing his own Star Wars.
Yeah, exactly. He's happy. Netflix is paying the money. They don't need the Snyderverse.
No,
they don't need it.
Joe, those are still my three favorite DC EU films right now.
In my top 5. All 3 of them are in my top 5. Like,
I guess that. So
yeah. So I found the list.
But I'm super excited. Like, I love James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. I love The Peacemaker. I love Birds of Prey. There's so much in DCU that I enjoyed. Wonder Woman, Aquaman,
I mean, there's still
Shazam.
Like 13 movies, 14 movies. Like, it's still a good chunk. It's not. I would have loved to have kept going. Sure. I mean, I would love to have gotten the MCU where it's 38 movies, 17 TV shows, and I have, I can't keep everything straight anymore.
Yeah.
But like with the DCU, we got a good chunk. Like, I'm not upset by it. I'm upset that it can't.
I'm excited to move forward. Exactly.
I'm excited for new stuff coming out.
And I don't be. Why would you be shocked that Gunn and Snyder are any sort of cool? Anytime I've ever seen either of them talk about each other as praise and the same thing they worked at. Like, Gunn wrote the film that Snyder directed that basically got Snyder's career really firing. He got another couple Scooby-Doo. Yes, down there. So sorry, crazy people. Sorry, culties on that one. DC celebrates the 10 popular LGBTQ superheroes on a new prod cover. It's nice to see DC do a feature like this. It's a pretty cool cover. What do you think about that, Joe? They had this. Their book has been described as a celebration of DC's LGBTQ IA plus characters, profiling more than 50 queer heroes and villains from across DC. Discover the rich history of DC's superheroes, in this inspiring gift title featuring detailed character profiles and comic artwork. Written and curated by DC expert Jadiza Axelrod. The DC Book of Pride profiles more than 50 LGBTQIA plus characters in detail, including Harley Quinn, Superman, Nubia, Robin, Batwoman, Aqualad, Dreamer, Green Lantern, and many more. Discover their fascinating origins, amazing superpowers, and key storylines. This title is an indispensable and celebratory companion to the DC Pride comic books.
I will be honest. I didn't know Nubia was LGBTQ.
Could be in certain runs, could be others that aren't as well. So,
it's just one of those things where I don't know that character very well, so that's why I didn't know.
Yeah.
But like everyone else there, that's awesome.
It's nice to see that, Joe. It's just nice to give other people representation, and that's always a great thing when people feel like they're represented.
Yep.
So more of that, please. One thing I really liked, another comic story here. Tom Taylor is an Injustice and John Kent fan. Stand up. DC Comics is saying that the adventures of Superman John Kent #3 is crossing over with the Injustice world.
I responded to one of Tom Taylor's tweets and asked, what do I need to read to get caught up for this run? Because I want to read it, and I've been wanting to read his Superman Son of Kal-El run, so I know that's a definite. But I also think that Action Comics 1051 is must read, or 1050, I can't remember which. To then go into this, but I didn't know if there was anything else. Never got a response, but
hopefully they'll release some sort of list.
I'm sure. Thing is, I know I can like look it up, but I kind of wanted Tom Taylor to respond, like, "Oh yeah, read these." But no, like I'm excited. Taylor is an amazing writer. This run, the Superman Son of Kal-El run has been breaking numbers left and right, weekly, monthly. So I'm looking forward to this. This should be good. I will get caught up. I will read them all. By the end of the year, it's on my list for my comics reading challenge 2023. It's just a matter of getting to them.
Any excuse I have to jump back into the Injustice universe, I'm going to take it and fold. And Tom Taylor will never leave me wrong. So I'm excited to check this out as well. We have some not so positive news. Comic book artist Lee Moder, who co-created the Courtney Whitmore version of Stargirl with Jeff Johns in 1999, has passed away at the age of 53.
Yeah, I got the not omnibus, but the collected edition of the Stars and Stripes run of Stargirl. It's got Beck Bessinger cover, but yeah, it's not bad.
It's happening more and more these days. It's always a sad thing when.
Well, I mean, we're getting older. Like, and the artists and writers, they're getting older. Like, it's just a matter of.
It's what happens with time. It's happening with sports, a lot of with sports heroes as well. So but all we can do is like honor his creation.
Yeah.
Keep reading it.
I will admit, I know he helped create Stargirl, and I know I've seen his art on other projects. I'm not a huge fan of it, if I'm being honest. It's one of those similar to, and I know you won't know who this artist is, Riley Rossmo.
Yeah.
Certain characters it works, other characters it doesn't. So I have not yet read this one, the Stargirl run. But there's other runs I've read with Lee Moder as the artist, and those worked. This seemed weird, but again, if I read the story and it works, fine.
Yeah.
Just want to put my 2 cents in there for that one.
Oh, yeah. So, this will be a good transition into the next topic after this one, but we get our first look at the Red Death costume for the Flash TV show with Batwoman wearing the costume. What do you think about this, Joe?
Looks pretty cool.
Yeah, the one thing that CW, most of their costumes the costumes usually aren't the problem with the shows. The costumes are usually on point.
I am a little interested in the white streak in her hair.
Yeah, same.
Mean anything.
I wonder, are we going to see her with the mask off? How long that's going to take? I'm super curious. Or is this going to be showing how she gets created?
I'm sure halfway through. Well, is it just the one episode?
The one episode, which will transition us
it'll be halfway
into Travis watch the first episode of The Flash.
Yes, tell me your thoughts on that.
Titled Wednesday Ever After. Well, Joe, it was a Groundhog Day episode.
Really?
Yeah, which I do enjoy that trope, but in my opinion, is I've watched 2 other ones in the Arrowverse. Arrow did it for season 8, which I thought was the best one they've done, and that one is closely followed behind by Legends of Tomorrow did it with Zari, and I thought
remember that.
was fantastic as well. Thought this one was a little bit on the back burner compared to those other 2. There were some things I enjoyed. There was a lot of good Barry and Iris, but it dragged down in time. The Allegra Chester stuff I have no time for. I barely know these characters, and it just reminds me of like, why is Team Flash so densely populated? You don't need that many people on there, especially when Cisco leaves. You don't need to replace Cisco. Barry's smart enough that you don't need to replace Cisco. You could even do an episode. You could even do an episode where Barry falters in trying to replace Cisco, and ultimately has to like pick himself back up and learn how to forge on without Cisco. But no, you just bring in another tech person. So I didn't need that, and it just reminded me of that. So the times that you went there, I didn't need it. I did enjoy the new portrayal of Captain Boomerang. Thought that was good.
Oh, okay.
Yes, new character, new actor. I enjoyed that.
Is it? You said new character. Is it like the son, or is it still?
No, I could be the same. But Barry hasn't had any interactions with him on this Earth. Like this is he just came into play as Captain Boomerang. He hasn't been Captain Boomerang for a while on this Earth or anything. There was a Captain Boomerang that was an Arrow season.
Yeah, but way back when.
Yes,
I guess
he
would be
showing up on the Flash.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. I follow now.
Reset. So yeah, I did enjoy that performance, and the big action set piece was just okay for me, where he phases a nuclear bomb. The way they did that was just okay for me. So yeah, it wasn't a bad episode, but it wasn't. If you showed me this episode, I would never have said this is a series finale premiere. Like this is the last series. This is the last premiere this show has. This is the last series.
Considering that, okay, so
we got a little kind of look at a big bad at the end, but not really.
Gotcha. Obviously, so you're gonna say this compared to Arrow final season premiere. Obviously,
not even in the same universe.
They are in the same universe.
No, this doesn't deserve to tie Arrow's shoelaces. That's how Arrow, you immediately felt the stakes. Like everything was pretty sure by the end of that episode, like the Earth was destroyed. I'm not mistaken.
That was the second episode, I thought.
For the second episode, yeah, you immediately know like the stakes, and I just enjoyed the Arrow episode far more than I did this Flash one. But there was stuff I really liked Joe. There wasn't a lot of Joe, but I did really like Joe when we got him.
Joe.
Joe was great, and Joe's seal stuff was good. That didn't make me cringe at all. I did enjoy that too. So the Killer Frost stuff for Frost or Caitlin, I have no idea what's going on there. So I don't really know what just happened at the end of that where she showed up. So really confused by that too. So stick with me as I keep going through that. Joe, you catch up on any Superman and Lois?
I did. I watched the next 3 episodes of season 2. So my thoughts on this one: General Anderson is a giant douche noggle, especially since he created a Superman team.
Yeah.
Under Superman's nose. Got it. Dick move there. Let's see. The Clark and Lois are still terrible parents because when Lois comes and finds out that Jonathan is trying to have sex with his girlfriend, Clark's more mad or Clark isn't even mad. He's like, oh, okay. Yeah. 15-year-old finding out about sex makes sense. And Lois just like, what? What? Terrible parents.
Yeah.
You let him drink, and now you let him have sex.
Don't throw Lois.
Him.
Don't throw Lois. And Lois was trying to get that under wraps. So.
The sex thing, sure. Yeah, but she also even said that if it was that Clark was too trusting, and if it was her, she definitely would have whatever. So just saying.
Yeah.
Let's see what else was there. The Lana being mayor thing was, I know. Yep, there it is. Rolling the eyes again. Couldn't
hide it. Damn it.
Yeah, I know you said that was like a nothing story, and I can definitely see that. It feels like it's just there so that Lana and Kyle can be in the show. So far,
Yeah.
um,
It was frustrating for me, Joe, and I will say this because I felt like 75% of that time should have been cut out and given to the Natalie John Henry story because
so
they
about
were far more compelling to me in the season. Like I
okay.
wanted to see more.
Now I do have a little complaint with the Natalie part of the
Yeah.
Natalie and John. It's that first episode. She is. I'm not gonna say like butting heads with John. I mean, she is, but she is literally like, I can't do anything here. This world does not accept me. I hate it here. And then the minute that they house up in the barn at the Kents, it's like, all right, well, I'm cool now. Like, really? Okay.
That their area of location will change. So
Yes, they're even talking about that by the third episode. They're talking like they're looking for a new place, which
yeah.
I get. But it was just one of those things where, and maybe it was because she tried to go back to Metropolis and go to high school there and see all of her old friends who obviously didn't know who she was, versus going to Smallville and being the new girl. Like maybe that is why she was okay with it now. But also it was one of those things where, what's her name? Sophie? No, Sophie is the little one. Sarah.
Sarah.
She is avoiding John or avoiding Jordan, and I'm like, oh, she totally hooked up with somebody at camp. Like the minute she got back and was like ignoring Jordan, like, oh, she totally hooked up with somebody at camp, which she did.
At band camp.
Yeah. And I also understand Jordan being upset by that, 100%. But the fact that she was purposely trying to avoid really anything with him, that's like, oh yeah, you're gonna go take me on a romantic date. No, Natalie's got something to do with me. Yeah, we're gonna do something, fix my dad's car. Yep. This is happening. Oh, my mom has got people coming over for the mayor thing. I can't talk right now. Bye. Like, I get she's supposed to be a teenager, and this is very teenager stuff. I will 100% admit, but God, it was annoying.
Yeah, it was really annoying, but also that's the my thing I took from it after a while was it's.
And I know, so I do know, spoilery. I do know that he does, because he's already asking about revealing his powers to her.
Yeah.
And I do know that he does. Because I think I actually saw that on a Twitter post, or it might have been shared in the group chat like a while ago, and I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense that his girlfriend.
Not going to speak anything about that.
I'm sure. Look, I'm sure it's going to be worked out just fine. I'll get to it when I get to it.
I can't. Let me just say this: I can't wait for you to get to it when you get to it. That's all I'll say.
Then the last little bit, seeing Morgan Edge come back, that was kind of fun. That was really cool.
I just shared a moment with the listeners while you weren't looking.
That's fair. That's fine.
About your future's fate.
I'll just watch the video. I'll watch the video back. Seeing Morgan Edge was cool. I'm a little confused because I was pretty certain that his dad said that he didn't have a crystal of his mom, and yet there was a crystal of his mom, of Laura.
Yeah.
So that was a little confusing, especially when it was the Laura that was going into the Eradicator, because the Laura we saw in Lana last season was different. I don't know. It's whatever.
Don't even
try. Whatever.
Yeah. Just go with the flow. Just go with the flow.
The big thing. I had forgotten that Bizarro was the big bad. And so when he's coming out, you definitely got that Doomsday vibe because he's in a suit. And then once Superman and Steel crack the mask open and you see Clark, I'm like, oh yeah, shit, I forgot. So that's gonna be cool to see. Yeah. So I'm enjoying it. There are a little more problems this season than last season.
Yeah.
But I am enjoying it.
Yeah, that's basically where I landed by the end of the season as well.
Yeah.
So I think you'll enjoy the season, but you will have some nitpicks / problems. But still, overall, it was an enjoyable season, and it arguably has the best episode of the series in
Okay.
it. So I will just say that, my opinion anyway. So I
Okay.
will see if you get to that. Okay, Joe. The final thing to end us off, we have our Smallville retro recaps, season 2, episode 5, Nocturne, and
Yeah. I'll
this
just
was a bad episode, Joe. This was an awful episode.
yeah, like I'm watching it and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember parts of this. Okay, so it's a Jekyll and Hyde situation where this kid, he apparently had some tests done to him
Yeah,
way back when
by Luther Corp.
by Luther Corp, and then his parents faked his death. And when he's in the sun, he turns into a raging monster. So he has to stay in the basement, in the cellar, whatever, chained up at times, I guess. And his dad's a giant prick. But it was one of those episodes where like he sneaks out and then he gives Lana a poem because he is infatuated with her for whatever reason. Because I mean, I guess Lana. But really, what really got me is he had this whole like emo persona going on that made really no sense to the character.
Yeah.
Like I don't
with
I
the
don't
times, yeah, Joe, just reminded me of the times more than anything. Like,
okay.
I don't know. This was bad. It was weird. Lana's reaction to somebody leaving notes for her on her gravestone is weird.
Well, like,
And
okay,
to be
I guess leaving notes is fine, but being like automatically swooned by like I'm not saying Clark's reaction
is
justified.
childish too. Clark,
Yeah, like
he's
he's
the person when he's not even in a relationship with this person.
right, exactly. Like he's trying to look out for Lana, but like you've already said you're not opening up to Lana, so she's not interested in you right now because she's not opening up. So now she's looking at other people, and you're mad because she's looking at other people, or other people are showing interest in her. Like, come on, dude.
This is a trope that Clark carries on for quite a while in this show, if I'm not mistaken.
Like 5 seasons.
Yeah, until he finally, and then that just lasts very long. But yeah, I thought this was just, I don't know. I did enjoy the strength of him, but for the most part, I thought this was a very weak episode. And I like that watching Tactville, they agreed. Even Alfred Gold was like, yeah, this was a bad episode. This was not one of our greatest episodes. He's like, it happens with 23 episode TV seasons.
You're gonna have some bad ones.
He's like, and the first 4 were really good. I think the last one preceded this was Red, and I'm like, oh my god, he remembers that just off the cuff being called like the episode was with Red. And I agree, this was not a great episode. So yeah, it was rough. There wasn't a lot notable for me that even stood out in this episode.
Well, the biggest thing is Martha becoming Lionel's assistant. Because I remember that thing being prominent because I believe either midway through or by the end of the season he kind of like confesses his love for her.
The Alfred Gold, the producer, even spent a bit of time talking about why they did that. Because Michael Rosenbaum was like, I don't know why you would do that with like John Kent there, and he was like, we want to throw her into out of her comfort zone. We felt like with Clark almost being finished school, like she wanted something more fulfilling, and also we just wanted to put them in scenes together. And he was like, okay, yeah, I understand that.
Definitely put them in scene because both those actors are amazing.
So yeah, that's basically the main thing here. It sets up Martha for a future storyline with Lionel, and Lionel will become more intertwined with the Kents, which can possibly put him into finding out Clark's secret. So, Joe, that's it for this evening. We had a pretty solid episode. Lots of Flash talk, some news, and some Superman and Lois, the Flash TV show, and Smallville, of course.
Yep, it'll be interesting once Superman and Lois come back, and we've got you talking Flash, both of us talking Superman and Lois, and potentially Doom Patrol and Titans.
Yes,
so we're gonna have a
Shazam. We got Shazam coming too.
We got Shazam coming soon. Yeah, we're gonna have a full slate of stuff coming up.
Content 2024.
Yeah. Stick with us, guys. 2023. Stick with us, guys. It's gonna be great.
I forgot the year. That's not a great year. It's early in 2023.
It's really early. That's why it's Like if it was November, December, you said 2024, sure, why not? No, we literally just started
No,
the
I was
year.
trying to use that. Damn it, there's no way to pass this out. Stick with us for the rest of 2023, which is going to be a really long time as we go through DC. Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.